Hello, music multiverse listeners, and welcome to another edition of Album Review Saturdays. This video edition allows you to get 3 albums from our blog site, plus 2 additional reviews. The additional views I'll do in a minute after we do the first 3. But before we get into these albums, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. And of course, likes and comments are always appreciated because you can tell us what you think. Tonight, we were kind of fortunate that we had a great list of albums to choose from. So first up is Robert John and the Wreck, their new album, Ride Into the Light. Now, this is what we've all been talking about when we say Southern that rocks. This band is very tight. Robert John Burrison put this together. I know they've been doing this for about 10 years now. They were not in my wheelhouse. I didn't know that they existed. And this is one of those moments where you find out, right? I heard from somebody else that you got to check this band out. And I put Ride Into the Light on. And wow, I was just pleasantly surprised by every inch of this record. You know, his vocals are tight. They're honest. And they're very easily accessible in that Southern rock arena. You know that the minute the record starts that you're in it. You know, the guitars are jumping, the keyboards, the piano, there's some slick slide guitar and Southern rock riffs. And of course, there's the driving and thumping of those drums. What's really electrifying here is how they deliver a lot of the songs. There's nothing new here in it, but it's just how it seems that they have this all together, tightness that sometimes is missing. Like when you hear a record, you feel it's more produced. I feel like the band went in here and did this, and obviously tweaks and stuff were done, but I think they can pull this off live. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what's going on around the touring systems with them, because I see it in the reviews and what people are talking about. So on the Southern rock side, and of course, there's some little country in there too. They've got that ballad here and there too, but nothing wishy-washy. Very honest and true lyrics. I'm going to play. What's the song? "Come at Me," which is a little bit more of a rockier tune. Now, this is kind of an example of how this record is, and it starts that way. It kind of moves that way. There are a few outliers here and there, but it's just good, honest Southern and country rock. Now, if you're thinking about where is this in the wheelhouse, again, I talk about, remember how Good Bad Company used to be? The Call, like that song "Let the Day Begin," or Big Country even. There's a lot of this in there. Now, maybe that's, dating people a bit. So let's go to like Robert Randolph was mixed with Jason Isbell and maybe Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats thrown in. So get wrecked, as they say. That's their hashtag. This is really a pleasurable album. I think you'll love it and really enjoy it. Next up, of course, being it's Beyond Your Radio, we dip into Canada because we love Canada. And during the Canadian invasion, there was a band called, not The Odds, but Odds. Well, it was called The Odds, and then it was changed to Odds. And there's an odd reason for that, but I'll leave that for another day. Their new record, Crash the Time Machine, kind of got us back into that heyday. This band from British Columbia, Vancouver, as we know it in upstate New York, as we said, the Canadian invasion days, it gave us a chance to go back to that power pop and alternative delivery that they've known for 3 decades. Now, they haven't had an album out in a while. They've had a bunch of EPs that were released as a record, but this is really a true, honestly new record. They still have that alternative pop mix, that lyrical quirk, which I thoroughly enjoy, but the flair to bounce in and out of each song without losing the flow of the record or, kind of losing where they are, what they used to be. This album, if I'm remembering all of them as well as I believe, has the most production and layering that I remember. There is a lot to listen to here, which is kind of unique, and there's very fun entanglement between the engaging songwriting and the music surrounding it. From cool bass lines, there's simple chords, to odd noises and electronic keyboard synth tricks that, I just dig. When you're listening to The Traveling Light, you'll hear it. Don't worry, you'll hear it. After listening to this several times, I started to pick up on that feeling that I've kind of heard this kind of delivery before. And back in the day, I didn't realize that I was listening to this or hearing it. It's just now. Don't get me wrong. Some of the vocal styles could be mixed or considered to be kind of Elvis Costelloan. But what did I really hear this time? The flow in the lyrics? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. No, it doesn't sound like them, but in some spaces, in some harmonies, and the pauses that lead to things, it's kind of in that mix. So I'm going to play you a little bit from Fall Guy from the record, and you tell me what you think. When I heard this track, it hit me harder. And at the moment, I started really sinking my ears into this record. It's such a dynamic layering, as I said before. A truly cool, professional, old Canadian favorite really came through this time. I'm up for the next Crash, whatever time machine or whatever they do. And yes, they certainly deserve to be on That's Your Band Name. But again, that's a story for another day. Next album up, our final of the night, and maybe one that just was in our wheelhouse. We were waiting for it. And, well, I got to tell you a story. So, Chef Jeff, the Grateful Dude, contacted me and said, I really want to do album review Saturday. And I was like, well, cool. I mean, and he said, there's this record you got that I'm hearing. Have you heard it? And I kind of figured this is where he was going. The big part about this is he was going there, right? That's the idea of this show. The whole idea and concept of this show is to pull people that maybe are trapped in an old era of music. Not trapped in it, I guess. It's just they love it so much. But there's so much music today that's new, that's still in with that sound and maybe a little bit different, maybe better produced. I mean, obviously something from 2023 has a better production value than some 1960s, especially in this genre, folk Americana. And when I speak of folk Americana, there's only one woman who handles it brilliantly and as effectively as Rihanna Giddens. Her album, You're the One. The gifted, talented, mesmerizing musicianship of Rihanna Giddens is known in passionate, award-winning circles. She has some of the most honest and deserved accolades that I've seen a woman in music get. I believe the awards and everything that she has are well-deserved. It's her gorgeous folk fusion and an ever-expanding fiddle house. See, I didn't go to wheelhouse. Her new album release was on our list. It was going to be. What was even cooler is to find out that this is really her biggest sounding album yet. You're the One is an all-out grand slam in the catalog, as far as I'm concerned. There, I said it. This is like her moving from a music hall to a symphony to a stadium. The sound here goes beyond the usual acoustics and the flares that she's known for, but it's old school microphones too, included with electric and big band sounds, big sounds, and gorgeous layering of instruments, of horn sections and wind instruments, like as if a symphony was on it. Her splendid, calculated genre bending is on full tilt. You got jazz, you've got Cajun Americana to soul-stealing blues, and even this lick that has us thinking, is she doing the theme to James Bond next? There is a great song called Another Wasted Life, and it had me kind of feeling that she could do darker. She could deliver it. And if the James Bond crew is out there, give Rihanna Giddens a shot at the title. She could be the next Skyfall. So what I want to play on this is Louisiana Man. This is a little bit more in that fiddle house, but it's just so bombastic and well done. I want you to get a feel for how large the sound is on this record.
I knew that things were gonna get so far. I never knew it. I never knew that you were gonna break my heart. You Louisiana man.
Louisiana Man just amps up the volume with the horn section, and you know you're in it for this album. It's just such an amazing sound ride from everything that's going on. We're gushing, yes. This is easily the best album of 2023 right now. What? Did I say that? Absolutely. You know, after the fifth time I've listened to this, I realized that it's extremely hard to not put it up there. Production's flawless, the vocal performance, the vocals. My God, her vocals. I'm just ridiculous. And how, you know, they don't have to be over the top or bombastic in an Adele fashion. That's a great vocal too. But Rihanna has just a passionate delivery. Some people have called it ravenous, I believe. That's absolutely true. This is a nearly perfect album from start to finish. Yeah, there's a moment that in here that, you know, it's a hint too savory for me. Yes, it's about a kitchen, but I can't hold that against her, the greatness of this record. We invite Miss Giddens to our musical kitchen anytime. This is one real special album. There's no doubt in our mind that a meal to music for this record is probably in the works. So what are our two records today that we're doing off the cuff and adding on? Well, I've got something really bizarre for you. The band's name is Kapitur. Now, Kapitur is led by a cellist, and this cellist is a little angry. This is basically doom metal with a very strong vocal from this female that runs the show and does dark cello in it. The EP is called Covered in Dust. The song I'm going to play for you is The Dust in Us. Can be off-putting for some. Want you to know what you're getting into. But for those that love the growl and intensity, they're in for a different kind of treat. This doom and sludge is kind of very well put together and orchestrated beautifully, especially with the lead being a cellist. The album cover tells you everything you probably need to know. And the fact that they did a cover of, I want to say, Slayer, just in the past few months, that should tell you, again, everything you need to know about the production and the speed and volume of this record. Again, it's Kapitur, Covered in Dust. Finally, going to end the note on a jazz note. London. London Brew is the name of the band. And obviously, this is a super group that was put together by Martin Terate, I think his name is. He's a producer, mixer, sound engineer. And like me, he's kind of been listening and loving some of these bands. The Comet is Coming, The artist Nubia Garcia, who's one of the best saxophonists there is today. The Comet is coming. What's the other one? Sons of Kemet, Kemet. So you got Nubia Garcia on here. You got Shabaka Hutchings on saxophone as well, and woodwinds. Tom Skinner's the drum. Obviously, Tom is also from Sons of Kemet. Rick Ram, Nikolai Larson. Now, Nikolai is not spelled that same way, but Nikolai Larson is actually well noted and keyboard legend for his additions to the song Skyfall, as we already mentioned Adele. So you can get an idea for the ebb and flow of this record. It's large, from low-key atmospheric jazz to upscale, crazy Miles Davis kind of institutionalization. It's really, really cool in a lot of cases. It does take a minute to get in with the London Brew because they have their own titled song, and it goes into part 2. And then you get Miles Chase's New Voodoo in the Church. Now, I wish I could play. I can't. They'll demonetize us and block us. I don't know why. This is one of the things I don't understand is why they would do something like this. I'm kind of exposing this. Who knows about London Brew besides people that are already in the jazz wheelhouse? There, I said wheelhouse again. But the fact of the matter is, this is a really cool jazz record that has a lot to offer anyone in the jazz environment who's looking for something new, kind of off kilter. And we'll call it a little bit like it's avant-garde-ish, especially with the list of people that are on here. So again, that's London Brew, self-titled. Just came out just recently, about a couple of weeks ago, I want to say, back in March 31st. So I want to thank you all for watching. Again, I'll mention these albums for you. The first one up. Again, the albums we reviewed today. Rihanna Giddens, You're the One. Odds, Crash the Time Machine. Robert John and the Wreck, Ride into the Light. And our 2 extras were Kapiture's Covered in Dusty Pea and London Brew, London Brew. Thank you all for watching and happy listening.